with the big eye. Tony Lynn Myles and Mayor Richard Berry is in with us this morning. And, well, you know, off air real quick, we were talking about serving and public service and being in office. And how hard is it when you're working with people who have different ideas than you? You know what I mean? Like sometimes Myles and I, we have a direction we want to go on something and we both agree on it. And other times we're like, okay, here's a great idea, but we disagree on which way to go on it. And sometimes you're like, I don't know if you want
what
to say
is
anything.
wrong with that idiot?
How do you get
so
how do you get past feeling like that?
Well, it's part of the reason that the process works. If we all had the same ideas all the time, we wouldn't have any new ideas. And it takes, one of the things you learn, I spent 2 terms in the state legislature before I ran for mayor, and one of the things that you learn in Santa Fe is that if you're going to have a good piece of policy, you know, if you're going to have a law that works, you're going to have some friction in there because nobody has a corner of the market on good ideas. So if you're willing to sit down at the table with people that don't exactly have the same ideas that you do, but take those core fundamental values that you have and hold strong to those, that's how I think you get positive things done.
Okay, yeah, because we would have a hard time with that, don't you think?
Yeah. We do have a hard time.
Yeah, it's tough at times. So what's your biggest challenge, you think, as mayor of Albuquerque?
I'll tell you what, first of all, this is just a great American city. I mean, I'm just so thrilled to be able to get a chance to serve. And I come out of the construction environment, and it's just great that people will give you the opportunity to be the mayor. And so we're taking that seriously. Right now, we've got some serious fiscal challenges at City Hall. We're looking at, we're in the process of trying to save $19 million between now and June 30th, which is the fiscal year for the city. And next year, we're looking at about a $55 million potential budget shortfall. So we're spending a great deal of time right now working on trying to get the fiscal house in order and making sure that we're returning a good value to the taxpayers.
This is an old idea, but I think one that bears bringing back. How about writing just one person a $19 million parking ticket?
I think I'd nominate you.
You can. Tough to get blood out of a stone.
Yeah, but that was an idea we did have, right? That was, yeah,
we tried that.
Yeah.
That'd have to be a special individual.
Yeah,
if you find that person, let me know.
That has come up on the show. Talk about property crimes.
Well, last week we've spent, this is 2 months now. December 1st is when I was sworn into office, and we're in office now for 2 months. And we wanted to make sure that really early in the administration we came out with a strong stance on property crime. One of the things that people sometimes don't realize is that 8 out of 10 crimes committed in Albuquerque are property crimes. And all too often property crimes can turn into violent crimes very quickly. So we're taking a strong stance. I asked Darren White and Chief Schultz to, even during the transition, let's attack this problem. So we came out with a 15-point plan last week, which is a lot of ideas on property crime, but they really all boil down to one thing. As a mayor, I want Albuquerque to be a bad place to be a criminal. We all work hard for our property. That includes vehicles. If you're in the construction trades and you're listening this morning, that's your tools. I don't know how many of us have had tools stolen over the years.
We all see those bumper stickers. Stealing tools should be a hanging offense, right?
I'll tell you what. So I think we've done a great job of coming up. You know, we're going to have more officers on the street. We're going to send the CSI investigation teams out to property crimes. We're going to take some of these criminals who have committed 10, 20, 30 crimes, and we're going to make sure that that they just really understand that we're serious about this problem, and it's a quality of life issue and an economic development issue, and we're pushing hard on it.
Now, Mayor Berry, when you got elected, I think that a lot of people were expecting a runoff. The way that things were polling early on, it didn't look like anybody was headed for the 30% necessary, and then all of a sudden you wound up winning on that initial election day. Were you surprised by that?
Well, surprised, you never know. I mean, you really don't know. We'd done well in the Albuquerque Journal poll the week before, but hadn't gotten over that magic 40% mark in that poll.
Right.
But that poll had 19% of the electorate undecided. So we basically did the same thing that we did for the months and months heading up to the election. We just went out every day, put our head down, worked hard, knocked on thousands of doors, talked to people, and just really listened to what the citizens were saying. And so on election night, when we started creeping up towards that 40% mark, well, that was welcome news, because I'll tell you, it was better to have several weeks of a transition versus a few days, which would have been the case if we would have won in the runoff.
Was that hard for you to do, knock on doors? Say
I'll
hey
tell
to
you,
people?
that's the best part of the campaign. I really enjoy that. I enjoy getting out. Tito Madrid, he was worked with me during the campaign, and he's my constituent service director at the city now. We just knocked on lots and lots of doors through the heat of the summer and windy days and cold days, and when you get a chance to meet somebody at the door of their home, and they actually open up and talk to you about the things that concern them, that's a meaningful conversation.
Now,
That is sort of a Pandora's box sometimes, though, too, Mayor Barry. Have you gotten crazy complaints? I would think lots.
What was the one that when you got into office, they came to you and said, whew, thank God that other guy's gone, because this is what I need done?
Man, I'll tell you, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. But really, when people call in, I have to say, for the most part, I mean, not 99% of the time, when people call in, it's because they really have a concern. And whether it's on crime, whether it's on the way their trash is being picked up, whether it's the way that the road conditions are, trash on the streets, you know, people when they take the time to call generally have something pretty meaningful to say. We've had a few interesting ones, but most of them are pretty.
Dear Mayor, my dog Fluffy won't stop barking, and the neighbor keeps complaining about it. Could you please shut him up?
Well, we have that's not an untypical complaint.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yeah. The barking.
But I don't know about you, but if you're up at 2 in the morning listening to somebody's dog barking, that means something to you.
Up at 2 in the morning listening to my daughter, usually a dog would be nice company.
My daughter won't stop crying. Mayor Richard Barry, thanks for coming in this morning.
I really appreciate the opportunity,
Yeah.
and you guys have a great day, and it's going to be a nice day outside.
Yeah, whenever you want to stop in, you feel free. Okay?
We'll do it.
Always,
Thanks.
yeah, 7:54 at the